Yes, Puss. Come here.
Come along. Here you come. That's right. Don't fall. Now then, come here. That's it. Take you in. Mew mew. Mew mew. Come along. Mew mew. Come along. Where are you? Mew mew. Come along. Mew mew.
You're the first to arrive. Well, everything has been kept according to your instructions. You kept the place immaculate, Mrs. Pleasant. I can't say you've missed much. Between the Bolsheviks on one side and the Democrats on the other, the world has become unrecognizable. Mr. West is safe, just as you left him. Well, the disintegration should be minimal. It will be strange to see him again. Listen to him again. Shall we go? Has the temperature been maintained? Well, yes. Are you sure?
Yes. And the locks haven't been opened since you closed them.
That was a long time ago. And yet, in a way, not so long.
20 years.
Tonight. strange feeling, Mrs. Pleasant, to find oneself opening something one had closed 20 years ago. Almost to the hour. Happy anniversary, Mr. West. Welcome to 1934. I don't seem to recall being informed about a moth that has reached its majority.
But I can't think how it happened. I haven't got a key.
Quite, Mrs. Pleasant. Well, I will investigate the local moth colony and find out who they sent over.
It's the spirit!
Open the door, will you? I've been pounding on it for 10 minutes.
Just a moment. Just another small moment, please. I think your guests are beginning to arrive. Most anxiously.
Good evening, Mrs. Crosby.
Good evening, Hap.
I'm sorry about the broken glass, but Oh, thanks, I will.
I seem to recall the breaking things was something you know a lot about.
We're flashing the sabers early tonight, aren't we?
Flashing sabers. That's a subject you also know a lot about.
Oh, you're full of charm this evening, Mrs. Crosby.
Tell me, did you come down by train?
No, I drove. But the train is in. I just managed to beat it to the crossroads. You've got the perfect night for the reading of a will. Am I the first?
Mm-hmm.
How many besides myself?
I don't know. 5 were notified, 5 definitely live.
I know 2, and that's 1 too many. Tell me, Mrs. Crosby, why do relatives have to be mean?
Aimed at Charlie Wilder.
Cheers.
Evening.
It's exactly as I thought it would be.
May I take your coats?
Why do you dislike Charlie so very much?
Well, in the second place, because he's my cousin, and I don't like war heroes. In the third place, because I think he's a queer. And in the fourth place, because I know he's a gigolo. And in the first place...
Because she is very fond of him.
Score 2 for the will reader.
Oh, I'm not going to read the will tonight.
No? Who is?
Cyrus West.
I knew an auctioneer's Swiss cottage once. I'll bet if I called him, he could turn the place over for at least $4 million. Cash.
Cecily, darling, let's not get mawkishly sentimental.
I'll die if it's me. I'll just die. Wouldn't you just die if it was me?
Not if I'm the next in line. Well, I suppose you can make do with anything if you have to.
Good evening, Miss Silver. Good evening, Mary, Doctor.
How do you do?
Susan Silsby, the noted sportswoman, and Cicely Young.
Who is noted?
I'll have a drink.
It's too early for you. She never drinks before sunup.
Did you both come up from London?
We came out together. We're roommates.
Your cousins?
Yes, cousins and roommates. Oh, but they won't be a problem. We're not planning to have children. Where do you practice, Doctor?
I used to practice in London, Beverly Hills, and Geneva.
Oh, change of life circuit.
I know who you are. You're the one who opens the will beforehand and changes the heir's name so that you wind up with everything.
Miss Young, I'm so happy that you're free. You're to join us this evening.
Well, you certainly have the perfect weather for the reading of a will.
Tell us, Mrs. Crosby, do we have to perform some special feat to be chosen heir, like during the Crusades?
Well, I'll only perform what I do well.
Try shutting up. You do that well.
You said I did a lot of things well.
Would somebody gracefully change the subject, please? Thanks, Cyrus.
Hi, Clam.
Charles Howard Wilder. Good evening.
Hello. Drinks for my family, for tonight we ride.
Charlie Wilder. We're cousins.
I got this coat from an out-of-work magician in exchange for some flying lessons.
Would you do me a favor?
Anything?
Would you take me for a ride sometime? If I rode in a plane with Charlie Wilder, I'd just die.
Anytime, my pretty, any time. Anything for a relative. Particularly one who may be very rich in a few hours.
Maybe it'll be you, Charlie.
I hope so. It would be funny, though. I don't remember the old man. Here, Harry. Sorry you could make it. But even you can have one glass. Everybody should have at least one glass, no matter what they may have done.
Careful, you just might get this right in your face.
Wouldn't be the first time, Harry, old boy. Wouldn't be the first time. Even one for you, Gertrude Stein. A glass is a glass is a glass.
Why don't you two meet up and shake hands?
I never thought I'd be able to do that without gloves.
Aren't you wearing gloves?
Is it true that once in the movies you doubled for Buddy Rogers?
No, it was Ben Lyon.
Haven't you always been a double?
No, during the war I played one of the leads.
Oh, really, General? Didn't I see your face on something to do with clean teeth?
Be careful, Mr. Wilder. In the process of keeping track of the family over the years, I've managed to acquire some interesting souvenirs.
Well, 1932 wasn't a very good year for dogfights. I only died 17 times.
Oh, really?
Sure picked a perfect night for the reading of a will.
Who are you?
This must be Mr. Porter.
Time.
I wouldn't be
Bluff.
that.
Nice to see you, relative.
Well, thank you. Hey, you're Charlie Wilder, the flyer.
That's true.
You know, I knew a guy who wrote a song about you. Charlie Wilder, the highest flyer of them all. I'm a songwriter, too.
Really? Well, you must tell me about your exploits sometime.
You're the American, aren't you?
Yes, I had to be in London anyway.
Well, you've come a very long way for nothing if you're not the heir.
Or an awfully short way if he is. Hello, Paul Jones. I'm strange cousin Susan.
Are we all here?
No, one still expected.
Who?
Annabelle.
Present. Hello, everybody. Sorry I'm late.
Hello, darling. Nice to see you.
Hello, Harry. It's really nice to see you again. Hello, Charlie. Oh, excuse me.
We've all been getting reacquainted. This is Miss Silsby, Miss Young, Miss Annabelle West. The others, I think you know.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Annabelle West. I'm Cicely.
Hello, cousin. Welcome to Elsinore.
Oh. Hello. Hello, Paul. It's really nice to see you again. Long time no see, as they say.
Hello.
You're Aunt Emma's boy, right?
As we are all assembled, I should like to begin. Will you please sit down?
Yes. Something wrong. What? That clock.
What about it?
It hasn't struck for 20 years.
Maybe it's not in the Union.
It struck 7 times. And there are 8 people in the house. Some of you will not live.
Are you quite sure, Mrs. President?
The spirit is never wrong.
No, I mean, are you quite sure that there are only 8 people in this house? On the 27th of September 1914, Silas Canby West died in this house 20 years ago tonight. I was instructed to assemble all of his surviving relatives here in this room at midnight on September the 27th, 1934. Well, Kipling once wrote that past is like an eclipse. If you gaze at either too deeply, you'll become blind. However, tonight...
No. Kipling never said that. That was Joyce Kilmer, the American. I hope the will is more accurate than your sources.
Excuse me, I think it was Kipling.
Kilmer!
Yes, of course, Kilmer. In his most celebrated poem, Gangadir.
Thank you, Mrs. Crosby. I'm glad to see there is humility left in the world.
You're too kind.
Can we get started?
Yes. When do we find out who the lucky one is?
Very soon now. However, don't you think that you all of you in this room have been very lucky over the years?
Let's hear it for the West family.
At least we have a celebrity in the family.
Oh, an almost celebrity.
Well, aren't you, Miss Silsbeck? Well known for the many, many hunting trophies you've won, as well as sharing the world record for the Bengal tiger.
She certainly is.
And you, Miss Young. Yes, Miss Young, are famous for shooting another kind of game.
Pity it wasn't Charlie.
Harry, you were well known and successful.
Very successful with juries. How long did it take for them to acquit you? An hour and a half?
Now, listen, stuntman, this isn't Hollywood. I'll put you up against that wall and hospitalize.
Please, Harry. In spite of that unfortunate incident, your career has been...
Peddling fifth-rate pharmaceuticals.
Stop it. I think I'm next.
Yes, Miss West. Miss West, I see from this newspaper article that you are rapidly becoming one of the most popular fashion designers in London, an accomplishment that would be envied by someone twice your age. Now, Mr. West, however, was not...
I won a radio at Macy's last year.
Oh. Mr. Jones, I didn't see you sitting there. Oh, yes.
That's all right.
Yes, I understand that you earned considerable attention and remuneration with a song called The Pollen Count.
Yes, well, hay fever is very popular now, and...
Yes, Mr. Jones, your success is well deserved. There can't be no doubt about that.
On with it.
Now, Silas West was no ordinary man. In his lifetime, he amassed a vast fortune, and in his retirement, he used his energies to protect that fortune from what he thought were avaricious and dangerous relatives.
He certainly did a good job with the necklace.
What necklace?
The famous West necklace. It's worth over £500,000, if you forget the diamonds today.
Where is it?
That's just it. Nobody knows.
It was during what was unfortunately the last year of his life that Mr. West had himself secretly photographed on moving picture film at the same time making a synchronized sound recording.
Oh, no. Is this some kind of joke?
Hardly.
Did they even have sound there?
Didn't you double
Mr.
for
West
Buddy
was
Rogers in the
able
movie?
to
It was
utilize
Ben
the
Lyon.
form of the sound recording, which had happily been developed at that time.
He certainly come from forward-thinking stock.
He was putting on airs.
The difficulty, of course, was to preserve that film from disintegration during the 20 years, and that task I allotted to Mr. West's devoted and faithful housekeeper, Mrs. Pleasant.
How do we know that she didn't peek?
The integrity of Mrs. Pleasant is beyond question, and anyway, it would have been impossible.
Would you bet your fortune on it?
My fortune is not at issue tonight. Now, there were 2 films made. The first contains Mr. West reading his will, identifying his beneficiary. The second film is not to be run tonight and must, in fact, be destroyed exactly 12 hours from now. Unless
what?
Unless the designated heir dies or is judged.
What?
Judged to be insane.
What the hell is that supposed to mean?
The second film contains the identity of the heir who is next in line.
But this is a license for someone to kill.
What?
Well, the second heir would certainly want to kill the first.
But no one knows the identity of the second heir.
Except the moth.
I would like to invite you all to a little supper on behalf of our host, Cyrus West.
Do you suppose we're going to see one of Charlie's films?
Oh, I hope not, for your sakes.
Miss West, I think we shall all find that this film is more in the private collector's category.
I hope it's as good as the one we saw Friday night.
A film that can only be made by such a man as Cyrus West.
How do we know there are not any other copies of the film made?
Because I supervised the destruction of the negative myself.
Well, then just tell us, who is the heir?
Oh, I can't why? Because Mr. West never told me, and I have never seen the film. Nobody has. In fact, Mrs. Pleasant and myself are the only two people left alive who were involved with the making of the film.
Old man West is the one who's insane.
He was peculiar.
He's a lunatic.
An eccentric.
Oh, come on, you must admit this scheme makes him a little crazy.
He was a little ahead of his time.
Well, you will say he was strange.
I would say he was unique.
He was a yo-yo.
An independent thinker.
A rich thinker.
That's what made him independent.
I like the movies.
So did Cyrus West. Let us hear what he had to say.
Good evening, leeches. Take your places. As you know, I am Cyrus West. Now, first of all, let me tell you that you're all a bunch of bastards. Oh, I know. I know the people you came from. They're all a bunch of bastards. Yes, your fathers, your mothers, your uncles, your aunts, your nephews, your nieces, your sons, your daughters, not to mention a cartload of cousins. All a bunch of bastards, except, of course, Mew Mew and perhaps one or two others. Perhaps I'm the biggest bastard of you all, to bring you here this night so distant in the future and to sit here contemplating the interaction of you parasites. Now, I've asked Mrs. Pleasant, who promised me she wouldn't die, as I've been foolish enough to do, to prepare for you the same supper she's preparing for me this evening. Ah, the wine. Thank you. A trifle fresh, perhaps, but you should have it at more or less the perfect moment.
Good.
I have it fresh, you have it mature. It's my guess that I'm mature, and it's you who are fresh. Fresh bastards. Oh, begin, please, begin. The foie gras, if you can still get it, comes from Perigord, near Lot. Some men seek immortality. That's a mistake, an eternal mistake. how many of the great pharaohs do we really know? None. These people were too greedy. They asked for too much. To be remembered forever. Really, what conceit. I don't want to be remembered forever. My great pleasure at the moment is to sit here and know that I'll be spending an evening with you 20 years from the night that I pass on to where I am now. Except that I am with you at this moment, physically and emotionally, in a sense. For instance, didn't that hurt your ears? Of course I'm with you. I'm spending an evening with all my living relatives. Thank you. I made the guest list. I lead the conversation. I tell the amusing stories. I set the menu. I still command my family. It's a birthday party for old Cyrus. 20 years gone, but not forgotten. No, indeed. I'm with you.
It's a comfort to know we all have the same blood flowing in our veins.
Now, this is Bombay chicken. Oh, by the way, I've asked for some extra curry to be placed on the table. She never puts enough in. Take a moment to do it. Go ahead, go ahead.
I think this chicken died in 1914.
Maybe they kept it with the film.
Harry, let's make a pact. If it's either of us, we'll split it.
Right.
That's not a bad idea, Cecily. What about it? 50-50.
No good. I'd lose out anyway.
Why?
Nobody'd declare me sane. I'd bet on it.
I had to be mad to be born into this family.
Well, I wasn't mad when I came here, but I'm certainly going to be soon.
Tell us some war stories, General. That'll calm your nerves.
Thank you, Captain Bye.
Now, the science of the transmission of hereditary physical and mental characteristics is called genetics. Genetically speaking, I feel as if I was looking straight into the eyes of each and every one of you, as indeed you are looking into my eyes. I might say, dear relatives, dear survivors, that's a good name for you, that I am, as I was before 20 years ago tonight, on the very tips of my relatives' tongues.
Isn't he going to run out of film?
Before you get too impatient, and I know my family well, let me complete my introductory remarks by assuring you that I'll be in your hearts for the entire evening, because I know something you don't. Returning to genetics for a moment. If there are more than 3 of you present, and I don't envisage fewer, then the mathematical probability of 1 or more of you being mentally unbalanced is, I must tell you, not in your favor. Coffee. Thank you. On the table is cream and sugar. Help yourselves. Try and keep away from the sugar. It'll kill you. Remember, cream first, coffee after. Now, should the beneficiary not be declared sane, which wouldn't surprise me, you will gather yourselves together exactly 12 hours from now and have breakfast with me when we run the second.
I knew there was something to that insane thing. This whole thing is insane. Maybe we're all insane.
That could turn out to be the understatement of the night.
Well, I'm as sane as anyone here.
Now, if Alison Crosby is still alive and hasn't yet dropped dead from overwork, she probably told you that she's had my money invested for 20 years. If she hasn't told you, then her representative, who's probably another bastard, possibly has told you that if my heir is not judged sane, then the next in line will be named in another film. Cyrus Canby West, being of sound mind and body, do hereby declare, as the sole heir to all my money, bonds, securities, estates, real and otherwise, my descendant, man or woman, who bears the surname of West,
Congratulations.
Oh, lucky devil.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, my dear.
That's great.
Congratulations, Annabelle.
Thank you, sister.
My astrologer guaranteed that I'd get it. I'll kill the bitch.
Dinner's on you.
quiet, please, quiet. Thank you. There's an excellent cognac, which by now should be even more excellent, having waited for you. Rest assured that I will be with you for what is now the games part of the evening.
Well, no necklace.
There's one more thing, just one. The West necklace. You didn't think I'd forgotten, did you? But that's not for all of you to hear. I'm sorry, dear family, it's not for all of you. I would like to have a word with my heir or heirs alone. Will the others please excuse us? All of you. You have 20 seconds.
No, everyone, please accept Miss West.
I'll be seeing you. As for the necklace, you've heard of it, I'm sure. Well, it's here for you. Where? Oh, I wrote the answer to that question on something which has been waiting to take a breath for 20 years. At last.
Thank you, Cyrus.
Well done. What a girl. Congratulations, Annabelle, my dear. I must speak. What about...
Congratulations. Do you need a companion?
Cecily, darling, we don't say things like that, even in jest. I think it's wonderful. I know you'll use the money really well. And
Thank you, Susan. You are kind.
in case you get something terrible, remember I was a good loser.
You choose well in life, my dear. I had to choose between my marriage and my career, and I chose my career. And did you regret it? Never, and I hope you choose it wisely.
Well, I think it's great. I would have lost it all in a month anyway. Hi, why so glum?
Me? Glum? I don't know why I should be glum. I've just had dinner with a man who's been dead 20 years. I'm in a house in the middle of nowhere without a telephone. There's a hurricane blowing, and now creepy Mrs. Pleasant thinks there are ghosts in the house, and we're all in some kind of danger. What's more, it turns out there's insanity in the family, and there could be a full-fledged, paid-up lunatic sleeping in the next bed. I don't know why I should be glum.
Don't worry, it'll all work out.
Yeah?
Sure. Where there's a will, there's a way.
I wish I could get the hell out of here.
You must all stay the night, Harry. In case we have occasion to hear the second part of the will.
Think what fun we could have had swinging from the chandeliers.
Lucky I used to do this for a living.
On the ground. And, my favorite period. Early Devil's Island.
He really was a bastard. They should give the losers something.
Maybe we're not losers. Quite yet.
Temper, that's no way to fly a plane, Colonel.
Listen. Just lay off that gigolo routine.
What's the matter, Rickenbacker? Am I getting too close to the bone?
You always get too close to the bone, you damned killer. Mrs. Crosby was right. You're lucky you're not inside.
I did not kill anybody. It was an accident.
Of course it was. The alcohol is for the patients, not the doctor.
Modest little dwelling.
What's the commotion?
I don't know. It sounds as if Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn are at it again. I'll go down. You change.
Thanks, Susan. You are kind.
Not at all. What's a poor relation for?
Forgive me. Please.
Had I shot you, I would have felt terrible.
My name is Hendricks. I am the chief psychologist of the Fairview Sanitarium.
What's that?
An asylum for the criminally insane. We're just up the road.
Oh, well, that's convenient.
Mr. Hendricks. Mr. Hendricks, do please come in and take off your wet things.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to have fun with everybody, please.
I hope you will forgive my rather unconventional use of your window. Don't mention it. You saved his life. He saved your neck, you mean?
Oh, time, fellas, time. Come on, everyone knows me.
Actually, I was afraid for the safety of all of you.
What? What do you mean by that, Mr. Hendricks?
I'm sorry to report that one of our patients at the sanitarium has escaped.
I knew I felt something.
Is he dangerous? He's extremely a complete maniac.
Well, he'll feel right at home in this house.
And homicidal. He's a real killer. You seen anyone around here since 7 o'clock?
Well, that's about the time we arrived.
That explains what I felt.
Oh, what do you mean?
Well, actually, we've all been a little tensed up in this house tonight.
What makes you think he's here?
I didn't say he was here. I'm looking at all the houses in the general area.
Have you some reason to imagine that he's close to here?
We're in this house.
Well, he always tries to get into a house whenever he escapes.
You mean he's escaped before?
Yes, I'm afraid so.
What do you use there, the honor system?
His method is to get into a house and hide until everyone's gone to bed.
What does he look like?
Well, when he got out, he was wearing a long coat and a black slouch hat. He's not a young man. Very little hair, sharp teeth, and fingernails like claws.
I think I took his daughter out once.
He believes that he's a cat.
A cat?
Nobody believes he's a cat.
Nobody in his right mind.
Yeah, is his last name West by any chance?
I do assure you, ladies and gentlemen, that he is not in his right mind, and that he indeed believes himself a cat.
Mr. Hendricks, is this some sort of joke?
No. In fact, he kills his victims by slowly ripping them apart.
Good night, darling. I need it. It's been a stimulating.
That could be a most unwise move. I'm asking everyone in the area to lock themselves in until morning.
That's ridiculous.
Well, I don't think you've much choice.
And how do you propose we should apprehend this homicidal animal? Do you have an extra weapon?
No. Weapons can be as dangerous as maniacs. And anyway, I hope to get him alive.
Why? As long as you get him.
Well, I've been studying him. There's a seminar this spring, and I was rather hoping to give a paper on his behavior. Everybody lie down. Don't anybody move.
Cicely, for God's sake.
Oh, thank God it's you.
You nearly got shot.
Some cat.
This is Mr. Hendricks, who is bringing some important
news to everyone living in the area.
What is it?
I'm not here to alarm you.
Certainly not. There's absolutely no cause for alarm. It's just that a homicidal maniac who thinks he's a cat got loose. He's not dangerous. He just tears his friends apart, slowly. That's all. But don't get upset. Ah! They strap him down in a rubber room. And a few times a year, he gets out. Nothing serious. They have a collection of incompetents over there. And this is the chief incompetent, who should be investigated by the State Board of Medical Inquiry. Allowing a homicidal maniac to escape is criminal negligence. A killer is on the loose and you're responsible.
There are many killers loose, son. Very often it is not clear precisely who is responsible.
Mr. Hendricks, I'm sure you'd like to know who you are speaking to. I am Alison Crosby, the West family lawyer. This is...
Harry Block.
How do you do? How do you know so much about the State Board of Medical Inquiry?
Well, I used to practice medicine.
Ah, in which branch of medicine used you to practice?
Surgery?
Surgery. That's interesting. Surgery. Very interesting. My patient cuts with his hands, or whatever he can find. You cut with a scalpel. The results are very different, to be sure, but who is to say that the urge is not the same?
Your man has an uncontrollable aggressivity.
Unlike you when we met in the hall. Why'd you stop operating?
He went into somebody's brain and then ripped them apart, like your cat, only this was on the operating table.
Shut!
This is Charlie Wilder, of whom I'm sure you've heard.
Ah, the famous hero.
Glad to know you.
All right. Lily White, tell them how many brains you got into with your bomb.
I lost an older brother in the war. I believe we all owe Mr. Wilder some measure of gratitude for what he accomplished on behalf of us all.
Thank you.
But, wasn't it Bertrand Russell who asked, what is a killer but a hero out of uniform?
Do you want any help?
He thinks there's a reward.
Thank you, no. There are several of us out, and the weather's on our side.
What's on our side, Mr. Hendricks?
My entire staff, to whom I've issued orders to shoot on sight. Although I hope it's not necessary.
What else can you do with a wounded animal?
You're Susan Silsby, aren't you? A classmate of mine almost broke your record in Kenya last summer. He always admired your courage.
He wouldn't be very pleased with me tonight. Anyway, I'm not a killer. I'm a sportswoman.
Do you know what the tigers say?
Oh, but my dear sir, I must tell you that I've never agreed with those who couldn't see the difference.
This is Miss Cecily Yan.
How do you do?
Are you going to stay with us all night?
I wish I could. But there's a lot of ground to cover, so to speak. Miss Young, do forgive me, but a colleague of mine testified in a fascinating case in London involving...
It was kill or be killed, Dr. Freud.
What are you talking about?
I don't mind, Susan. I was the girl who was dancing at the Cozy Club in London, who the manager doped and tried to attack in his office. Having no other course of action open to me to prevent him from accomplishing his unspeakable intentions and seeing his gun on the desk, I gave it to him, right in the face.
Self-preservation's the first rule, certainly. How many times?
6.
As I recall, the condition of the body was somewhat mutilated when they found it.
After the shots, I fainted. I never remembered anything after that.
Oh, understandable, certainly. Yes, well now.
And what about Mr. Paul Jones? He's a songwriter from the United States.
How do you do?
Fine, thank you.
Well, very often we know a man by his creative efforts. What's your latest work?
A love song. It's called You Scratch My Back and I'll Scratch Yours. Look, before you start, let me tell you. I used to put red ants in with black ants and, oh, yes, once I killed a skunk on the Taconic State Parkway. But if your cat decides to show up, don't count on me, because it was all a long time ago, and I've hung my guns up for good.
Oh, but I can count on you, Mr. Jones. From what I hear on the radio, songwriters are the worst killers in society.
What about Mrs. Allison Crosby?
Mrs. Crosby. You're a lawyer. And all lawyers are sharks. And sharks are the worst killers and the most bloodthirsty creatures in nature. Well, I really shouldn't stay any longer. Would you mind getting my coat for me, please?
What do we do if the cat gets in?
He can have our room.
I hope he's paper trained.
We'll hang on to him, don't worry.
Just pray he doesn't hang on to you. Twice this year I've had to shoot him.
What?
Once here, and once here.
That seems a little excessive.
Regardless, the last time he was captured, he succeeded in getting his hands on me. It took 3 good men to get him off. You will take my advice and avoid socializing with him at all costs.
Whatever you say.
There's a good chance that he's looking to get in out of the weather, if he hasn't already. So I must ask each one of you again, not to go out before morning. And be sure to lock all outside windows and doors. To get him, I'll let you know. Thank you.
So we're prisoners in here.
Well, I prefer to think that he is the prisoner out there. Would you please tell anyone else in the house about the situation? Ladies and gentlemen, whatever the purpose of your gathering, I hope that this won't prove too much of a disturbing element. I wish you all a good night. Remember, as Bismarck said, a little caution outflanks a large cavalry. Good night.
Let's begin with the basement.
Oh, you must mean the basement that doesn't have any lights on because of the storm.
Right.
I thought you meant that basement.
Please, I think it would be wise if nothing of this was mentioned to Miss West. If she asks anything, just say that we're looking round her beautiful house. Do you agree?
Of course.
Come in.
Just wanted to see if you're okay.
Sure, I'm fine.
Everyone seems to be looking around your beautiful house. I think I will too. See you later. I want to talk to you.
Okay.
I just wanted to see if everything was all right.
Everything is fine.
You're not nervous, are you?
No.
Good. I think I'll look around your beautiful house. I'll see you later. I want to talk to you.
Okay.
Just wanted to see if you're all right.
Thanks, Susan. What's happening?
Nothing. Nothing. You look a little upset.
I'm fine.
Well, there's so much to admire in your beautiful house. I'm going to have a look around. See you later. Oh, just one thing. We just heard there's a maniac loose in the area. He thinks he's a cat. He may even be inside the house.
Cat?
Yes, a cat. K-A-T. See you later.
Hi.
Oh,
Chilly here. You, what's bad luck for an heiress to catch a cold on her first night? Like brides.
I never heard of that.
Oh, sure, they take half your money away. It's a local ordinance. Maybe that's why you never heard of it.
Well, you're very sweet to be so concerned.
What kind of a fortune hunter would I be if I didn't look into these things?
Paul, I don't catch colds easily, and I am not allergic to cats.
Susan.
I'll never tell.
Well, it's nice to know who your relatives are. I'm sure she exaggerated.
It really is nice to see you again. You still look the same.
You don't.
I don't? How?
Well, take a mirror out and look at yourself and try to remember what you looked like when you came to New York.
Oh, that was a great vacation. Was I that bad?
You were a walking passport photo.
Oh, ouch. Sounds awful.
No, it was fun. It was almost as much fun as we're having tonight.
I gathered that Cousin Annabelle completely destroyed the summer of '29 for nice, accommodating Cousin Paul, who lived in a big, cold American city.
You know, actually, I wrote my first song that summer, and I sold it.
Really? What did you call it?
I don't remember.
You don't?
Well, I think it was called Annabelle Summer.
This isn't very much of an Annabelle summer.
Well, actually, I wouldn't worry about one cat outside.
No.
No, it's the wolves inside that I'd be scared of.
Oh, Harry and Charlie. They're harmless, and I do think that they're sincere.
No one is more sincere than a greedy cousin. That's Paul Jones's theory of relativity. Anyway, you know, you have to be careful now. You don't want to get involved with people like...
Like you?
No, you don't have to worry about me. I admit I'm after your money.
Please, be careful.
Do not fear. Tonight, the mouse will outfox the cat.
Oh, Charlie.
Well, did you find anything?
What?
It's all right. She knows Susan spilled it.
The idiot. There's nothing really to worry about.
I know. Now, where have you been?
I've been checking some windows. Have you finished?
No. As a matter of fact, I have to get started. I'll see y'all. Oh, this is a play. I hope I don't have the role of first body discovered.
I just had a slight altercation with Dr. Jekyll. Have you got something for a cut lip?
Yes, come on. Did I hear that you once doubled for Buddy Rogers?
Nope. It was Ben Lyon.
I bet everybody tells you that.
No, hardly ever.
Bet you didn't get this kind of service in France.
I had better.
Oh, thanks a lot.
But you smell much nicer than any medic.
Oh, you seem to know a lot about people who smell much nicer than medics.
Annabelle, what happened? I mean, what happened? Everyone keeps asking for you. I don't know what to say.
Stop that.
I can't help it. Yay!
Be brave, my century.
Where would I hide if I were an escaped homicidal maniac who thinks he's a cat? Good pick.
Annabelle, I told you I loved you before you were rich. I don't care about money, in spite of what they say. Now, tell me, why was I grounded?
Charlie, be original.
Yeah, you're right. I've said that too many times. That's my trouble. I've said everything too many times. I'm the world's original carbon copy. Except nothing is original.
Really?
Except when I was with you. You're the one I was truly original with.
I really liked you, you know. But I have to tell you something, Charlie. You are moody sometimes. And I don't particularly like sharing things with the girls I know.
You haven't heard my version of that story.
Thank God. The one I heard was bad enough. But that's over, Charlie. Look, Charlie, this has been a wonderful night for me, in spite of strange people wandering about. So please, please try to get on with Harry.
Does he mean that much to you?
Well, everybody means something to me, even you.
Now, don't joke with me. I'm serious. Whether you like it or not, Charlie Wilder doesn't give up. You'll come back to me. I know it.
And if I don't?
And if you don't, well, I can always say I once held a real live heiress in the palm of my hand.
You are sweet.
Not even that's original. I just saw it in the Scarlet Pimpernel. Annabelle, I'm hopeless. Save me, please.
Who is it?
Miss Annabelle, Mrs. Crosby would like to see you in the library.
I've got to go.
Well, looks like it's going to be you and me.
Stay out.
Oh, thank you for coming. What are you looking for? I was looking for an old family photograph album. Oh? Yes. Miss West, I take it that you are aware that what passes between the client and his lawyer is privileged information. Of course. Good. Well, I was close to Mr. West. So naturally, I gained facts about his fortune and about his family. But now I feel it my duty, in the light of recent events, and particularly in view of the fact that, well, a life may possibly be in danger, I feel it my duty to suspend normal etiquette.
Chimes 6 times, Mrs. Crosby. Does it mean that... Miss Crosby? Mrs. Crosby? Mrs. Crosby? Mrs. Crosby? Mrs. Pleasant. Did you see Mrs. Crosby leave?
Yeah, I did. What happened?
Mrs. Crosby's disappeared.
Well, can you blame her?
Are you sure that you didn't pass her in the hall? Annabelle, was that you screaming?
Yeah, you all right?
Annabelle, what happened?
Yeah, but when did you miss her?
Just a minute ago. What? She was practically in the middle of a sentence.
Where were you?
Here. She was standing right over there, saying that she had something important to tell me. For my own safety, I think.
Did she say there was danger all around you?
Yes. Yes, something like that.
There were unknown people out to harm you?
Yes.
Sure.
Charlie, you remember she said she wanted to see me.
Did you find her?
Well, of course. She was right over there. And I was here, and I saw a cat.
A cat?
Yes, I was holding the cat when the clock started to chime.
Which clock?
Well, I don't know. The clock started chiming. I turned to talk to who? To Mrs. Crosby. Who do you think that I was talking to? You heard me, Mrs. Pleasant, didn't you?
I only heard your voice, Miss Annabelle.
And you didn't see her leave?
She didn't leave.
Then where is she?
You want to find Alison Crosby?
I didn't see any cat.
What are you all looking at? Are you trying to tell me I've been hearing things?
Of course not.
I told you. I was holding the cat. A clock started to chime. It only chimed 6 chimes, which Mrs. Pleasant said that
Annabelle,
somebody...
it's been a very exciting evening. Don't you think perhaps you're a little overstimulated?
I hate to tell you some of the things I've thought I've seen in my time.
Are you trying to tell me that I've been saying things?
No, are you crazy? I'm sorry.
Annabelle, nobody said anything of the sort.
Yes, they did.
Who said that Annabelle could be crazy?
Cyrus West.
Well, if it was my imagination, where is Mrs. Crosby?
Well, I expect she's somewhere checking with Harry.
Where has Harry been?
I'm going to take Cicely and lock us in our room.
Good idea. I'll go and find Harry. I'll look in on you later.
Do you think I'm crazy?
Nope. You?
No. If I were crazy, I'd be a much better designer.
We'll find Mrs. Crosby. You know, just between us, I think that she and Mrs. Pleasant have something going on down in the basement. You'll see. I'm right.
As for the necklace, you've heard of it, I'm sure. Well, it's here for you. Where? Oh, I wrote the answer to that question on something which has been waiting to take a breath for 20 years.
Waiting to breathe.
It's me. Harry?
Oh, come in.
Just wanted to see if you were okay.
Oh, I'm fine, thanks, Harry. Well, I'm still in one piece anyway. Where have you been?
Around? Checking out the house.
Have you seen Mrs. Crosby?
No, but Charlie told me she was missing. That she disappeared right in front of your eyes?
Nothing that spectacular. But she did disappear. She did do that.
Annabelle, you've been through a lot tonight. First the money, and now I hear that Susan has told you everything.
Not everything. Just enough for a small breakdown.
Please believe me, you have nothing to fear while Harry is here. Now, I know that everyone is going to think it's because you're the first heir, but we meant a lot to each other. At least, you meant a lot to me. I'd like to make us more permanent.
Harry, I do feel something for you.
Only something?
Well, you know how much I like you.
You know how much I like you. Please, let me protect you. I'd kill for you, you know that?
That temper of yours is one of the reasons I stopped seeing you.
Oh, Annabelle.
Well, perhaps it'll come in handy tonight. Do you know where Mrs. Crosby is?
Stop stop talking about Mrs. Crosby for a minute, will you? I'm being serious with you.
It's not the moment, Harry. I do appreciate what you're saying, but let's talk about it later. I need to relax for a while.
All right. But you haven't heard the last of me. Oh, Annabelle, you're driving me crazy.
Harry, it runs in the family.
Oh, am I interrupting something?
Oh, no. Harry was just leaving.
I didn't know you made house calls, Doctor.
I'll see you later.
Yes.
I just met Paul. He said I shouldn't have told you about Hendricks. I'm sorry if I upset you earlier.
Oh, that's all right, Susan.
But in these circumstances, I think everyone in the camp should know what's waiting outside in the darkness for them, however gruesome it is.
Susan, this is Glencliff Manor, not Tanganyika.
You're wrong. It's a jungle. And there's a wild animal around who kills for the pleasure of it. He's got very sharp teeth and very long nails, and he hides in houses and waits till everyone's asleep. And then he takes his victim and very, very slowly tears the flesh off.
Susan, please.
In case he gets in, and in case he gets you, take this. And if a bullet won't stop him, shoot yourself.
Come in. Mrs. Pleasant, I'm afraid. I think that I'm in some sort of danger.
You're afraid you are in danger. Mr. West always said fear is what you have to be afraid of. He told me that he'd seen fear make people lose their minds. Permanently, in just a few hours. Mr. West said a canary in a cage almost dies of fright when the cat walks round the cage. Dies 1,000 deaths, although it's quite safe.
That's a comfort.
Unfortunately, this is a house, not a cage.
Well, no Allison Crosby. I think she got disbarred and left. What have you been doing?
Getting a lot of advice and trying to figure out what ice means.
Ice?
Ice. Here. Look.
Ice. Ice. Didn't Crosby say something about the fact that the biggest problem was preserving the film? How would you go about preserving something? Ice.
Oh, my God, what's that?
I don't know, but you look there and I'll try here.
Hey. Have you found anything?
No, right yet.
I think I found something. Look down there. Did you see it?
I'll be around, so if anything happens, you just scream. And I'll run and get Cecily. There's nothing. Fine weapon, Miss Pleasant. First of all, Annabelle and I found the West necklace.
How do we know you didn't take it?
It didn't fit.
How do we know you didn't take it?
I put it on before I went to sleep.
Where did he come from?
Well, right here, I think.
Oh, really, Annabelle? You can't be serious.
Anything can happen in a house like this.
He came out of the wall?
Yes.
But you said you were sleeping.
I was. He must have been here. I bolted the door.
Maybe he was in already.
I wasn't in at all.
What's that supposed to mean?
Well, really, Annabelle's been strange the whole night.
Why don't you just say that I've got the running West insanity?
Relax, Susan. Anybody can get a little hysterical.
I am not hysterical. The creature was here.
How did he get in?
Well, that's not so hard to figure out. Thought they invented secret passages in this country. I mean, what's so strange about the cat sneaking in and accidentally finding one? One that led to this room. Is there a passage that leads here?
I don't know.
There's got to be some explanation for all this.
Do you suppose it's really Mrs. Crosby? could have been you.
How do you think she was seeing things?
Where does that lead to?
I don't know.
That maniac may still be in the house.
My God, suppose he's still here.
I hope our friend Hendricks comes back soon.
Nobody's to get down there. Why don't you two charmers just lock this room up and put Annabelle someplace safe? I'm going to look around again.
I didn't think it would turn into this kind of evening. Let's get the body downstairs.
I told you what that maniac does.
Yes, Cousin Susan. You described it most perfectly. Almost too perfectly.
Must be hurt worse than I thought.
Where have you been?
Not very far.
What have you been doing?
Thinking.
Being alone in this place gives me the double creeps.
Stretch out, I'll relax you.
Hi. Victim number 2.
Oh, you're hurt.
No, I'm all right. I think the left side of my head's missing.
Oh, who did it?
I found him in the basement.
I don't know. You would have been proud of me. I didn't bounce once.
What happened?
And then I saw Mrs. Pleasant looking down at me. This story makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
Well, it does to me. But try telling it to the others. They'll think that you're insane, too.
Well, they may have a point.
Some maniac is trying to kill us. Look what just happened.
Well, maybe he's not trying to kill us. Maybe he's just a little overstimulated, as Susan would say.
Very funny, Paul. I am scared. Really scared.
You know, old Cyrus's game was to give everyone here a license to kill. Now, what better way than to let everyone think he has a chance at the jackpot? Now, remember, he mentioned everybody. He mentioned Mrs. Crosby, Mrs. Pleasant.
And Mew Mew.
Yeah. Who the hell was Mew Mew? New song? I wrote it while I was unconscious. It's called Kiss My Heiress. Want to hear my first hit? Want to hear my last hit? It's the same hit. Come on. I want you to lock me out. I'm going to get the second film from Mrs. Crosby's body and find out the name of the second heir. I got an idea.
What?
I want to have a little talk with whoever it is. Now, don't you let anyone in, not even old Cyrus West himself.
Paul, what kind of cousins are we?
Kissing cousins.
Isn't that illegal?
Only if it feels good. So there you go. You know, I could do this for the rest of our lives.
Which may not be very long.
No, 50 years, I'm personally going to photograph your will.
Paul, please be careful. Remember what happened the last time.
Well, I was younger then, without responsibilities. It's different now.
You see, it turns out I'm quite original after all. I'm quite original. Especially with people who cheat me.
How? How did I cheat you?
You got my inheritance.
Yours.
Of course. You cheated me. The money was mine. I was the old man's favorite. First, it was his damn cat that was the favorite. But I took care of the cat. And then I was the favorite. You didn't know I used to play around this house when I was a kid, did you? The old man showed me the secret passages. He showed me because I was the favorite. That's why I phoned up my war record, to keep him proud of me. This was Cyrus's private entertaining room. No one knows about it except me, Cyrus, and Mrs. Pleasant.
Please.
That money is mine. I should have been the heir, and I would have been if it hadn't been for your damn name.
You're next in line.
That's right. It says so in this. Mrs. Crosby figured it out. Susan tried to figure it out.
Susan. What have you done with her?
Exactly what I'm going to do to you.
Oh, thank God you've come. He's a maniac. He's trying to kill... Ah!
Well done.
Thank you. But everything was well done. Clock chimed on cue. I saved you from Cousin Harry in the nick of time.
I thought you'd never arrive.
Now, let's take a little time with her. No need to rush it as you did with the others. Hey, where's your lucky medal?
Must have dropped it upstairs. I can't get it. Don't start without me.
Hi, Charlie. I figured it out.
I wanted to be here. Star of the evening. Scream, please. Do scream. Feel like it. You can't hurt now.
Please. I'll give you the money.
Oh, we'll have the money anyway. In a little while. Charlie will have everything.
Why are you doing this? Charlie's insane.
Charlie and I were in the army together. He asked me to help him inherit some money. In return for which I would have certain rewards. Some material and some non-material. Hope you're not busy for the next few hours. There's a clock on the table over there. So you'll be able to see how slowly time passes. You're having fun.
Annabelle is in danger.
Are you all right?
Just barely. Is the cat out for the night?
I think the cat's out for good. You know, if this were a song, I'd say something about it's going to be a real nice day.
And I definitely agree.
Annabelle.
Oh, Cecily, are you leaving so soon?
Yes, Harry's giving me a lift.
Cecily, I'm terribly sorry about Susan.
Me too.
What are you going to do?
Well, I'm going to go to Kenya for the winter, and then we'll see.
Well, let me know as soon as you get back. Okay. Thank you.
Good morning, leeches.
Good morning.
And now you know what leeches you really are. So the heir named West cracked up. Turned out to be the one to whom I bequeathed our strain of insanity. Bad luck. Or perhaps they didn't make it through the night. Even worse luck. Well, you remaining bunch of bastards, I'll tell you which of you is next in line. The suspense must be killing you. It's that curly-haired little rascal, Charlie Wilder. He was so nice when the cat died. So you, Charlie Wilder, or if you're dead by now, the institution that will get the money, you're going to learn what life is all about, what it's really all about. It took me a lifetime to learn it. Greed. Greed and power. That's what it's all about. Forget everything else. Forget what they tried to talk you into. Money. Learn to get it. And now that you've got it, learn to hang on to it. That's all. Our visit is concluded. For the time being. As I said last night, I'll look for you all later.